Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Bully Girl Magazine Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Incredible. Thanks for joining us on episode 5. We do have a very special guest today. We have Holly from Tillman Kennels. Holly, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for joining us this morning. Who is this with you? Who's joining you?
This is Mini Me, one of our productions here.
Mini Me, beautiful dog. And how old is Mini Me?
He just turned a year old April 1st, actually.
And he won't grow any more than that.
No, he won't get any bigger. He's like really small.
All right. All right. So before we get started, we're going to give our first shout out to our sponsor of the day, snubbies.com. Go to snubbies.com for all your snub-nosed dogs needs. Don't forget to put in our code BG20 at the end of your purchase for a 20% discount. But if you get the discount, please share it, like it, do whatever you can to give the publicity that we need. Continue to go to snubbies.com for all your needs. Let's get episode 5 up and popping. Holly, let's start asking you the questions that the people want to know. So, what made you get into dogs in the first place?
I always liked dogs. I first started out, I got like a rescue dog from a shelter. And I started with pit bulls. And then I just got into the bullies, started showing them, and to kind of develop my own style with them. Kind of went smaller. And here I am now with these.
So how long have you been involved with Tillman Kennels?
About 7 years now.
Are you the primary owner of Tillman Taylor?
Yeah, I'm the only owner.
And what made you want to sell that particular breed of bully?
I just like the way they look. Like I really just they're easier to deal with. They're smaller. They just look cool.
They do look cool. They do look cool. I like the way that yours is structured, to be honest. Big old fat head with the muscles and super cute. And it's funny how that dog really does think it's a lap dog.
Yeah.
So walk me through a day of how you spend your time with your dogs.
We get up every morning. We let them out. Then we feed them in the morning. Usually like around 10 o'clock. Let them out a few more times throughout the day. Have exercise, playtime throughout the day. Um, do grooming and stuff like that. And then on weekends when there's shows, we try to go to shows if we can in between taking care of puppies.
Okay, and how are you exercising your dogs? Is there a particular routine that you're using to exercise them? Is just playtime just your regular exercise? What do you do?
It's just playtime. Like we separate them into groups in different sections of the yards and let them play with each other. He plays with a couple of other males.
Okay. All right. So let's ask, what makes your kennel different than everybody else's?
It's really just like the way we raise the puppies. We get very hands on with the litters of puppies. Taking care of them with their moms and everything, getting them socialized and just ready for their new homes.
Okay. If I were to buy a bully, what would that process look like from your kennel?
Like we discuss the terms of the sale. I'll show you pictures and everything. We both sign a puppy contract outlining all those details. And then you'd be able to reserve one with a deposit, or if they're ready to go, you just come pick it up and to handle.
Now, as an owner, would you try to match me up with the right dog, or can I just come over, pick the one that I like, and keep it moving?
A little bit of both. Like, I mean, if you tell me you're looking for something specific personality, like it depends if you're like just looking for a pet or if you're looking for a breeding or a show quality dog. Like I wouldn't sell something with a bunch of issues that would not make it suitable for showing or something like that. Like certain ones would be pet, certain ones would be for show, certain ones would be breeding stock. It just depends on what you're looking for.
Okay. Have you ever turned an owner away?
Um, no, not that I can think of. I mean, they might have to wait for another litter. Like if it's not something they're looking for now, be like, well, wait for this litter. This would be more of what you're looking for.
Okay. So, do we have any expansion coming up? Are you trying to open up different locations?
Planning on expanding to another location, building a bigger facility, but for now I'm just like operating it out of my home and working on improving things around here, expanding, and then eventually a new facility.
Okay. So, I'm gonna ask you, right? Before we ask you, what makes you different. So now I'm gonna ask you what makes you better, right? So if I'm looking for dogs that I'm gonna buy, what makes you that top kennel that I should go with you and rather than somebody else?
Well,
Like what separates you?
yeah, I mean, a lot of people are breeding this style of dogs, like with the smaller, shorter dogs, but they can't move around very well. They have health problems and issues like that. Like ours don't have that. Some of them come from health tested lines, show quality lines, and we just decreasing the size over time, basically. But it's still that functional quality dog.
Okay, so I'm glad that you jumped into that functional dog. So you don't really like breeding more to make different types of bullies, right? Like when you breed yours, you want to keep that originality to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like anything like with bowed legs or anything. I like them to be like straight legs, still be able to run around and everything, and act like a regular dog, just be smaller.
Okay, all right, I could take that. I could take that. So let's talk about you. We talked about your dogs a little bit, right? So your history with these dogs, like, do you have any trophies behind your kennel and the dogs that you're breeding? What are we doing?
Yeah, like I started out showing more like classic and standard type of bullies. I earned a grand champion title on Grand Champion Sosa, and I had a couple females that earned championships in the UKC. And then I started showing Bauhaus, who's actually Mini Me's grandfather. He's on his way to his championship. He's almost there. I've just
Okay.
been going to a lot of local fun shows, and they've been winning a lot.
So do you feel that by your dogs winning, it increases the value of what you're selling as a breeder?
Yeah, I think it does. And just really the main thing is just exposure, getting them out there for people to see them in person. Because, like, when people see him, for example, they don't realize how small he is until they see him in person because the photos make him look a lot bigger.
And how much does he weigh?
Maybe like 30 pounds. Like, he's solid and heavy, but he's like really small.
He does look a lot bigger than that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have put him at 60 or 70 pounds.
now.
All right. So as a female in a male dominated industry, right? What kind of challenges did you see coming up as a breeder,
It's just,
if any?
I mean, sometimes people like think they can get one over on you because you're a female or something like that, but you know, you work through it, establish a reputation, and just do good business, and everything falls into place.
Okay. As a female breeder as well, right? What word of advice would you give to younger female breeders that are just now starting off? Kind of like mistakes made, stuff to avoid. What would you say to them?
I mean, everything's like a learning experience. You just kind of have to work through it, and like if anybody has any questions about any specific situation, like I'm always here to give advice about anything if they're going through something, because more than likely I went through something similar.
Okay. We've had one of your dogs featured on an issue of Bully Girl magazine. Let's talk about that dog.
Yeah, that's Bauhaus. He's an Oro-san. I still have him. He's like 5 years old. That's Mini Me's grandfather. So I'm just keeping,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm keeping that line going. He's a lot bigger than him, but yeah.
So what did that feature do for you in your kennel by having your dog in the
People
magazine?
reached out like a lot. It was crazy. People all over the place, and then they're like, "I want to get a dog from you," and a lot of people ended up buying a few dogs from me because of that.
Okay, so how long does it normally take? Like how many? All right, so let me back up. So at any given time, how many puppies do you have available?
It depends. Like right now, I just had a litter of like 9 puppies. They're still really young. I have a couple other upcoming breedings. I pretty much do it year round because I work from home, uh, doing design work and stuff like that, and just take care of the puppies and do that.
So is Tillman Taylor Kennels your main squeeze? Is that your main focus on finances, or are you doing it as a side hustle and then you still have a career on the side?
Oh, it's the main thing. I mean, I do that and I do the graphic design stuff, but it's really just what I'm focused on, really wanting to do.
So how many dogs do you have now
Uh,
at your house?
like 25.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ!
Well,
And are you like a one woman show? Do you have a crew?
I have a friend that lives with me. She actually has her own kennel. Her kennel's Kamikaze Bullies, and she has about the same number of dogs here too. So we just kind of work together on it and do our thing, help each other out.
So hold on. You have a total of 25 dogs, or is it 25 dogs for you and 25 dogs for Kamikaze Bullies?
Each, yeah,
So I'm assuming in South Carolina, where you're primarily located, that you have that kind of space. You have that land to house 50
yeah.
dogs.
We have no neighbors out in the middle of the no.
Jesus. So you have 50 of these things running around.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we've spoken to some breeders where when they have an operation of that size, they have their own medical team on standby, or someone who lives near them. Is that your case, or do you administer most of the medical needs of the dogs yourself?
But we do the shots and deworming and like basic care and everything here. Anything we can handle here, we handle here. But like for surgeries or anything more complicated, we have a few different vets on standby. Ones with emergency hours that I have their cell phone numbers to that I can just call and come in when needed.
Okay, so I did have a particular question based off of the interview that I read about you that I've never seen any other breeder do. You fast your adult dogs at least once a week.
Yeah, there's some health benefits to it, like reducing the risk.
Talk me through that, because I've never heard of somebody fasting their dog. I mean, I fast, or I do intermittent fasting as a human, but I've never heard about that in a dog.
It's similar to like the health benefits like a person can get, just increase like helps with their metabolism and helps with like reducing risk of like certain diseases and stuff like that. Yeah,
And how long have you been fasting your adult dogs? Like, when did you start doing that?
probably a couple of years ago.
Was it something that you learned, or something that you read somewhere and you just tried to incorporate it and see how it worked out for your kennel?
Yeah, I just read about it online. I figured try it, see how it works out.
Okay. So the next question, talk to me about what you consider to be a responsible breeder. Right. Obviously, you have a reputation to be a responsible breeder with Bully Girl Magazine. You've been on one of our issues before. So, what to you is what a breeder or a responsible breeder should look like? What are some of those qualities?
Really, just doing the right thing and making the most ethical choices in any situation that comes by, and just taking proper care of the dogs and doing the right thing.
Okay, I'm sure you've come across examples of bad breeders.
Yeah,
What's that look like?
ones that just they're not taking care of their dogs. They're just not caring. They're just throwing any two dogs together without care for health or structure.
Okay. So, you breed a few different types of bullies. So, what is your favorite?
I like the
I mean,
nano, like more exotic type, but still correct. Like he can run around the yard with other like big dogs. Like he'll run around with like our other 90-pound dog and almost keep up with them.
and what's the temperament of these dogs?
They're good with everything. Like I breed for temperament because like I have small children and I want them to get along with kids, other dogs, even cats. Yeah.
You know, I had a buddy of mine who has a micro bully, and this thing just brings cats, brings birds, brings rabbits, anything that comes into the backyard and the dog's outside, he brings it to him. So it's refreshing to hear that your dogs don't have these
Oh
problems.
no, they play with the cats. Like they'll lay down and play with them and it'd be good.
So so socializing your dogs is important to you
Yeah.
from an early age.
Yeah, just handling them, like, because we don't leave the moms unattended with the puppies. We supervise all the feeding, so we sit there with them, let them feed the puppies, handling the puppies a lot, grooming them, trimming their nails, like from a really early age, so they get used to being handled. And everybody that's gotten them said that they really like the way they act.
Okay, so as far as Tillman Taylor Kennels, what's next?
Just expanding, really just focusing on the nano and micro bullies, while still breeding pockets, because that's like what I really like, but just like two separate things that I'm working on because they're very different. I still want to go to shows and do more of that and then work on expanding.
So for people that are going to listen to this in the future, right, and they're interested in purchasing a puppy from you, do you ship?
Yeah, I ship everywhere, all over the country, either ground shipping or a flight nanny service.
Okay. All right, but they also have the option to come pick up a puppy from you.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you have a Facebook or Instagram page that you would like to put on here for folks to come take a look at your puppies?
Yeah, on Facebook it's Tillman Taylor Kennels, and it's the same on Instagram too.
Okay. So let's talk shows, right? How many shows are you currently involved with now?
Um, I
Or how many have you signed up to go take your puppies to?
probably like two or three this summer. Like as long as I don't have like newborn litters of puppies, we're gonna try and make it to a few different ones. Usually bring the studs just to show them off.
Okay, and how many dogs do you currently have right now that go to these shows and compete?
I usually take about four or five different ones. I usually only take two or three at a time, but it's usually the boys. I have six studs now, so I usually take them like Mini Me, Rorschach, Bauhaus, Panther. Those ones I usually take out.
And do you handle your own dogs or do you hire a handler when you're at shows?
I usually handle my own. Like occasionally for ABKC shows, I'll hire somebody, but I usually handle my own.
Okay. Do you plan on expanding to any other breed of bully, or are you just sticking to your exotics and your nanos?
I'm mainly just doing the exotics, nanos, but also pockets. I do have one standard dog, so I might do something small with him. Just have a little subdivision of the program doing that.
Okay, so for breeders that are coming up that want to start something similar, an operation similar to what you're doing, right? So how big is your establishment? Like I know you say you have no neighbors, you have a big old yard. How big of a kennel do you have at your house?
We have
Like is it more of an indoor, outdoor operation?
we have some outdoor kennels, and then we have some that stay in the house, like more like house pets, and then ones that have like a separate dog room, and then we have like a separate area just for the puppies, and their moms and everything.
Okay. Again, I've never heard of anyone who does fasting with their dogs.
Yeah.
I have two dogs. I feed them twice a day. I do feed them all natural stuff. Do you ever put your dogs on a raw diet?
Yeah, actually, my friend, she sells raw, and she kind of focuses on feeding them raw. So she'll feed them that, and I'll sometimes occasionally add a little bit of raw into their food. Like I'll add like chicken quarters or something like that, or a little ground beef. Like when weaning the puppies, I always add ground beef and goat's milk and stuff like that, just to make it an easier process for them when they're like 4 weeks old.
But you incorporate kibble as well,
Oh
correct?
yeah, yeah. Most
What kind of kibble do you use for your dog?
I've been doing Diamond or 4 Health for most of them. It just depends on their individual needs, how they do on it, and everything like that.
Okay. So as far as your summertime goes, right? How many litters do you normally have in a year?
Um, Anywhere between 5 and 10. Like it just depends.
Jesus Christ. You guys are busy.
Yeah.
5 to 10 litters. And normally, how quickly do you sell out your puppies?
Usually they sell pretty quickly. I mean, there might be like one or two left out of litter, but we, hold on to them until we find the right home for them.
That's insane. Normally, um, I've seen people that have anywhere between, 1 to 2 litters in a year. You have anywhere between 6 to 10.
Yeah.
And how many puppies per litter?
It varies. Like, I mean, sometimes, anywhere between like 3 to 8 usually from what I've seen.
All right. Well, what are your questions for me?
Um, I don't really have.
Is there anything specific that you want the people to know about you and about Tillman Taylor Kennels?
Um, Pretty much. I think we covered everything. Yeah.
All right. So once again, we are on episode 5 of Bully Girl Magazine podcast. We want to thank Taylor for being here with Tillman Taylor Kennels. We appreciate your time, appreciate your insight. Thank you so much for spending that time with us today.
Thank you.